Hi, I'm Indigon. Welcome to my Great Vault video. In this video, my aim is not to tell you which item to pick, it is to tell you or teach you how you should think about what item to choose. That way you can choose the correct item this week, the next week, and every single week after, instead of having to come back every single week to ask which item you should pick this time. So, let's go straight into what you should think about when you are choosing your Great Vault. The Great Vault is a weekly object you can interact with in the bank, right over here in Silverman. Each week it will open up with a lot of items, which will their power level and how many items you get will depend on what content you have done on that character. For example, this character will get a 266 reward from my heroic grades. It will get a 256 reward from my Mythic 0, and it will get a 259 from the tier 8 delves I have done. Now this is the max you can have the first week. Later on you can also achieve even higher item levels from the Great Vault. So the items are really powerful, therefore it is very important to think properly about picking your Great Vault, and there's no undo button. If you pick the wrong item, tough luck. Let's go into how you should think about the Great Vault. And my aim is to teach it for all different skill levels. If you're a Mythic Raider, you probably know what to choose, or if you're a Mythic Plus player, or if you are just a Hero Raider, or even just a normal Raider slash Mythic Dungeon player. So when you choose your items, you should think about two things, which will also pop up on the screen. Those two things are, can you get this item? Like, how hard is it to get this item? Because if you choose an item from the Great Vault, and then you also go do the content that gives that item, and you get the item, then you essentially wasted your Great Vault. So how easy is it to get the item is really important. Secondly, how big of a power increase is it? Like, how much character power does the item give? For example, a belt will give less character power than your chest piece or your weapon. That is because of how stat budgets work. I will also, in the editing, throw up a stat budget overview on the screen so that you can take a look at it and you can just pause and read it if you're interested in the different stat budgets in World of Warcraft for the different item slots. What you should know is that the most powerful items are achieving your 4 set, it is weapons, and it is the best trinkets for your spec. Some trinkets are really bad, others are insane. So, how do we apply that to the Great Vault? If you get a myth track item in the Great Vault that is not achievable this week, but it will be the later weeks, those are almost always better than hero track. So you almost always want to choose a myth track if you can. There is the hero track, and then there is the different items within these tracks. Obviously, you can get lower than hero track as well. So when you are on myth track specifically, the best items you can get are trinkets, like the really good trinkets, and weapons. For example, as a hunter, the best trinket I can have or use is the Algathar puzzle box. By far, it is miles better than any other trinket in the game. Why is that important? That is important because it comes from a Mythic plus dungeon. The only method to get a Mythic plus trinket on Mythic track or Myth track is through the Great Vault. So if this comes up on Myth track in my Great Vault in any week when I haven't already had it, I'll be picking it because it's just impossible to get any other way, and we're not going to talk about turbo boost events that come months later for anyone who knows what that is. A weapon is also really, really good, and it might even be more character power than the trinket. But it's a lot easier to get a weapon because a weapon, there's a million weapons, not really, but there's many different weapons that I can get in my vault, which just increases the odds of a weapon showing up. And they're all going to be quite similar in character power because it's just secondary stats that are different, right? And you can even get them from Mythic Raid. So a weapon is really good, but it's a lot less priority for me than a Mythic trinket, for example. And then after that, it's tier. After that, it is the strongest item slots or slots that, for example, don't drop from early Mythic bosses. If we take a look at, for example, the Void Spar, just to use this as an example, the first boss drops a weapon for Hunter. I can probably get this boss killed either with a guild or as a pug group. So I can probably get this, and there will only be hunters rolling for it as well. While there's no ring here, and let's assume this ring is bad. Maybe there's no easy, maybe it's really hard for me to get a ring. So maybe I want to pick a ring instead of a weapon in the vault because it's a lot easier for me to get a weapon on Mythtrack. So that's things you have to think about. What are you able to achieve? You have to be honest with yourself. Can you kill mythic raid bosses? Are you only going to do heroic bosses? Are you going to be able to kill the last boss on heroic, etc.? Then you also have to think how many people want those items because you're going to be rolling against everyone else. And as a hunter, luckily, there's not many that share my weapon, so it's a lot easier for me to get the weapon, for example. But trinkets, is your trinket best in slot for every melee class in the game? Or is it just for yours? Because that will depend how easy it is to achieve or how easy it is to get. So that's how you should think about what item to pick in the vault. That is basically that is all you have to think about. But when we go down from myth track to hero track, it actually changes a little bit. So we're going to talk about that next. With hero track vaults, which will be every player in the game on the first vault, because it's not possible to get myth track, so it will be hero track or lower. So let's take a look at why it changes on hero track specifically. And that is because Mythic Plus dungeons exist, and they will be opening up from this reset onwards. And Mythic Plus dungeons are something you can farm an unlimited amount of times. There's no cooldown, there's no lockout like raids. So if I want a hero track weapon, I just have to do a +7 dungeon. So let's go back into World of Warcraft. I just have to do Mysa Caverns, for example, on +7 over and over and over again until the weapon drops for me. A myth track weapon you cannot farm, like we talked about. A hero track weapon you can actually farm. And that's why the number one priority when we're thinking about what we can choose is, can I get this item during the week? And that is why it's really important to remember that it changes between myth track and hero track. It's not the same. I will be able to get a hero track weapon next week. I will be able to do +7s. That's why maybe a raid boss trinket that's good is way higher value than a weapon because I cannot farm a raid boss trinket. I can only do it once per week. And there's probably way more people that are going to want to have it as well. So that's the really important thing to think about. Also, whenever you ask players, they're going to tell you just sim your character. You can actually easily sim your Great Vault by just throwing in your SimC string from the Simulation Craft add-on into like raid bots when you have the Great Vault open. If you want a specific guide on how to sim your character, because I know that's might be difficult for new players, while old WoW veterans probably know how it works, let me know in the comment section below, and if there's enough demand, I will make a in-depth simming guide to teach you how to sim raids, dungeons, crafted items, everything in between. That is how you should think about what to choose from the Great Vault. And also make sure that you fill up your Great Vault slots before the resets go out. So if you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button to my channel, then you'll be notified when I upload my next video, and it will help me out a lot as well. Also, I would love to hear what you get in the Great Vault. It is really fun to hear what items you can get in the Great Vault and what items everyone gets, and then we can celebrate or cry together based on if it was a good or a bad item. Good luck on your Great Vault. I hope you get exactly what you wish for.